Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about COVID-19, mask wearing, and NASCAR. This should be interesting. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Okay, well, first thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about NASCAR, the Confederate flag, and all the cancel culturing that's going on. Well, here's the thing. You know, if NASCAR, which is a private institution, if it wants to get rid of the Confederate flag, so be it. If it wants to ban it, so be it. But I read somewhere this morning is that they're allowing BLM, which let me just explain to you. BLM is nothing but a Marxist organization hell-bent on destroying this country. It has nothing to do with black lives, nor rather they matter. Nothing. And I forget her name, but one of the financial fundraising people for Black Lives Matter was a convicted terrorist in the 70s that blew up a couple of buildings. I can't remember her name. That just came to mind. But anyway, they're a bad group. So is Antifa. But here's NASCAR with Bubba Wallace and his race baiting ass is gonna say, "Oh, there's a noose." That thing had been there for years, way before he got there. And all of a sudden, it took one person and a bunch of cowards to bow down to that one person and end up getting rid of the Confederate flag, believing that someone made a noose. And who's to say that someone wasn't just sitting in the shop one day doodling? Even if it was a noose, the FBI investigated it, said it was no there. So I would certainly believe them before I would believe Bubba Wallace. And then he didn't concede and go, oh, you know. But what if someone was just sitting there doodling and made a noose and hung it on the thing, thought it was funny? Because there were no, he's the first, I believe, first black American to be in NASCAR. So all that was race baiting. And I'll never watch NASCAR again, ever. And I hope they lose 75% of their base and their stock plummets. I mean, you can't let one person completely control everything else. Now, are we do we have a problem with systemic racism in this country? No. Not today. Sorry. You just don't. There are a lot of successful black people in this country. I mean, a lot of them. And I kind of take the position of Morgan Freeman. Like, if you see a really beautiful woman, you go, "Oh, she's a beautiful black woman." Why do you put her in? Why do you want to put her in a box? Why can't you just be a beautiful woman? Why do you have to put them in a box? Why can you don't look at Morgan Freeman and say, "Hey, he's a good black actor." You do that, you're putting him in a box of 14% of the population of America. Why can't he just be a good actor? He is a good actor. He's one of the best actors, black or white. So that's my take on that. And I'm irritated. You know, I was being funny yesterday trying to do a show on Bigfoot because shit. I mean, there's so much stuff going on today, and I wouldn't be a cop today if it paid 3 times what I make. Just wouldn't do it. Not because it's any more dangerous, just because nobody cares. Nobody respects you. You get cops and you expect them to wade off into the crap society has to offer, and then you want them to be politically correct when they do it. Well, if you fight crime, if you truly fight crime, and I've been there, it's going to fight back at you. Yep. And them street thugs don't give a damn about anything. So kudos to the men and women out there that are actually doing that job today. You're a better person than I am. But I just wanted to touch base on that. I think NASCAR made a serious business fumble. I mean, it's NASCAR. It started from rum running and moonshining and all that bullshit. And look, here's the thing, folks. If you judge everybody by the sins that they have committed in their past, or their fathers or their grandfathers, or you can't judge the things of the past with today's scale. You know, like we're any better, right? Like we're any better than than the people of the 60s. Now, you had systemic racism then, of course, but you don't now. You have cancel culture, anarchist. Leave the statutes alone. And if a municipality or a government body wants to remove a Confederate statute and they vote on it, fine. And if the people don't like it, vote them out of office. It's that simple. But I can tell you right now that there is no way that you can take the scale of today and measure it against the atrocities that happened back in the day. Even when our Constitution was ratified, they had the same conversation about blacks and slavery, and not everybody was on board, but there was compromise given. And it was the Democrats that started the Klan. It was the Democrats that oppressed black people. And they try to make this false claim that there was some way that they swap places. And I forget what it's called. It's called Southern something. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. When they couldn't oppress them anymore, they went after their vote. Same with illegals. That's what the Democrats do. If they can't control you, they go after your vote. And they tell you what you want to hear until you come on board. But when you're talking about people swapping from Democrats to Republican back in the 60s in the civil rights area, a lot of that had to do with economics. It had nothing to do with race. But that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. But I can tell you this, that it's just ridiculous. Okay, so what about those masks? Everybody's got to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a damn mask. I'm not wearing it. It doesn't work. Look, I have done extensive research on masks. And here's what I found. They took 100 masks, a research group or scientists, and I forget what their name was, but they took 100 different homemade masks. And what they found ran the gamut. It run from it only stopped 1% to it stopped 70-something%, depending on what the material was that they made it out of. So basically, they come to the conclusion that if you take your mask and you hold it up to the light, if you can see through it, it does no good for you at all. Now, what about the surgical mask? Well, okay. They probably do stop your spit. Do they protect you from the virus? Well, the box says no. The box that the single-use masks come in say no. I know you're going to say, well, it keeps you from spitting on someone else and spreading the disease because it's, you're asymptomatic. Okay. Well, nonsense. Every study that I looked at, even from 2016, where there was a dental organization that did a study on them, they're designed to stop your spit. They're not designed to stop viruses. And they're single-use masks. You don't see them wearing these damn things all day, every day. You touch your mask, you touch something at the store, you touch your mask. All that is a big virus-collecting piece of cloth that you got on your freaking face. They'll wear it around my neck, pull it down so I can smoke my cigarette. I mean, Jesus Christ, folks. Wash your hands. Try to stay away from people and let the rough end drag. I mean, and here's the thing. 119,000 people died last year of the flu. And we have a vaccine. And right now you've got over, 133,000 people died. Okay. A lot of deaths. Nobody wants to, but on the massive scale of things, this thing is not a pandemic. I disagree. And I read yesterday where the CDC was about to lose their pandemic status because it's not that deadly. It's deadly as hell to the people that have underlying conditions or they're elderly. Yeah, it's deadly to them. But for the massive majority of folks, it's not. And this thing has caused economic destruction to so many. It's affected my business. It's affected everything. So, yeah, I'm pretty pissed off. And the thing about it is, it's nothing but a control mechanism. I really believe that. And I'm not a conspiracy nut. But if you would have told me back in 2016 that the CIA and the FBI and the DOJ together would try to overthrow a presidential candidate before he took office, I would have said you were nuts. But it happened. And we're finding out more and more every day. And some of these idiots ought to be in jail. And that's Peter Strzok. Oh my gosh. That smug bastard needs to be locked up. And that's just, it's just ridiculous. So don't tell me that Hollywood Fauci is not capable of doing the same thing, but using a virus rather than the DOJ. I don't trust that man as far as I could throw him. He just looks like he would I just don't. And I think that Trump knows it. And I think that's he's not going to fall for this stuff anymore. Why he keeps them around, I have no idea. And any dissenting opinion from any other expert, any other medical providers, immunologist, all of those, any dissenting opinion gets scrubbed. It gets scrubbed by Facebook. It gets scrubbed by Twitter. YouTube takes it down. And for what? Because they want to control the narrative. Let me tell you my opinion. You heard it here first. When this election is over, regardless who wins, when this election is over, masks will be irrelevant. They don't work. That's what they said at first, too, by the way. Over and over and over again. Stop buying masks. They don't work. They don't work because of what I just said. You touching your mask, they just don't work in that type of environment. You have to have a control setting. But anyway, when this is over with, when this election's over, here's what you're going to see. You're going to see the masks are irrelevant. They don't work. Stop buying them. And the like. Why? They want to throw this president out, and they'll do anything to do it. That's the problem. Democracy as you know it is seriously in jeopardy. Freedoms as you know it are seriously in jeopardy. All you have to do is look at Hong Kong, what they're doing over there. Why the hell we didn't just take over Hong Kong and buy it from the British or something to help those people? I have no idea. But you heard it here. I'm telling you, man. The only reason they're pushing those masks is they want to control the narrative. They want to they want people to freak the hell out. I don't care if I get it. If I get it and die, I just die. I mean, I'm not a scary type person like that. If I get it, fine. You know, I'm a little heavy now than I used to be, and I'm trying to work on that. But you know what? If it's my time to go, I guess it's just my time to go. I never worried about stuff like that. Nope. Let the rough end drag. COVID-19. You're going to find out later in life, too, that this virus was not as deadly. Hell, we know it's not as deadly as they predicted, 2 million. And why do they call them models? Why don't they just say, hey, we sat in a room and at the round table and we just threw out a fucking number. We just guessed. What? That's kind of like the climate idiots and nuts in the 80s. Oh, if we don't do something about El Nino or global warming, the world's going to end by 2000. Well, here we are, 2020, and it hadn't raised the sea levels in Miami, but maybe, I don't know, a quarter of an inch. And that's just a stretch. And hell, you got AOC, we're going to be dead in 17 years anyway. So, Sweden, the Swedish had the right model. Protect your elderly people, leave the country open. And I was actually upset at Trump for shutting the country down. And we got this governor in Mississippi now that I'll never vote for again, ever. Tate Reeves. God, what the fuck he's doing. But anyway, the bottom line is this. We have to take our country back. Look at Ilhan Omar. Didn't she marry her brother? She says she didn't. I don't know. Hell. Anyway, she was made a speech just I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, basically wanting to dismantle our entire system. Think about that now. And you don't have to go any further than Venezuela. These people are fucking nuts. Nuts. I'd rather talk about Bigfoot. I don't know. But I will say this, that when it comes down to the powers that be, folks, you need to get out and vote. Because these people are secretly infiltrating our government. Look at the squad. Look at AOC. And I can't believe the educated people that like that idiot. I mean, they actually like her. She's dumb as a sack of rocks. Nothing she says makes sense. But yet people just love her. But that's politics for you. The most qualified don't always get the positions. But I will tell you this, and you heard it here first. When this is over, you're going to see most of this hype and hyperbole is going to be irrelevant. And COVID-19 is going to be shown not to be a pandemic or as deadly, and as they say. And here's the thing about the CDC. If you don't like the CDC you see today, just wait 5 minutes. Hell, they'll change. But that's my 2 cents, folks. If you hadn't subscribed, please do so. I like my new hobby. It helps with therapy. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. And visit our podcast as well at charlesgraham.com. That's charlesgraham.com, or I think we're on Apple iTunes as well. The Chuck Graham Show. Visit us over there. We're going to have new and exciting commentary, hopefully every day. God bless you all. Stay safe. Don't get corona.